Have the could we have the roll call, Madam Recorder?
Here.
Here. Here.
All right.
Ian said he was coming about 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
I'd asked him to come tonight and said, yeah.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and.
Yeah. Carol's coming in right
Oh,
now.
okay. We'll just wait a few minutes and let that come in.
She's got trouble with it.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hey, everyone's got their ears covered.
I can grab another chair.
Thank you. Got a warm one.
You've got one. Thank you.
Can I borrow it sometime?
Yeah.
I think having my back turned.
You get John over. You can have
Be on the
that.
end.
Corner.
Head of the table.
Yeah.
I think I will.
That'd be good. Hey.
Do you need to take roll call again, Sharon, or? Here.
Here.
That clock is off by a good 3 or 4 minutes, so my apologies.
No problem.
All right. If we could stand for the prayer, and then Chief could lead us in the pledge. Everyone watch the microphone.
In the name of Jesus, dear Heavenly Father, we come to you, Lord, in the only way we know how, asking you to please forgive us for all of our sins. Lord, we thank you for your grace and your mercy. Oh, Father God, we thank you for how you look beyond our many, many faults and you see our needs. Father, as we go through this meeting, Lord, I ask, Lord, that you would guide us, direct us in the path that you have us to go. Lord, every decision that we make, God, I ask, Lord, that you would lead us and let it be pleasing unto you. And God, I ask that you look down on each and every one of us. Lord, you know what we all stand in need of. Lord, I ask that you would just touch, continue to bless us and the balance of our families. And God, I'll be so careful to give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. In Jesus' holy name we pray. And everybody said amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll now have our first session of public comments. If anyone would like to speak, you'll need to take the microphone off the table, and you're welcome. All right, if there isn't anyone, we will go ahead and proceed. Thank you. All right. It came to my attention from a number of people that the meeting, our regular meeting last week, didn't go all that well. I'm trying very hard to balance running the meeting and not being aggressively hostile. So I was reminded that we use Robert's Rules of Order, and I've had this book for a while, and I've read parts of it, but I found that it was better to kind of go online and find a simplified version, because we're not as formal as the county commissioner meetings. You know, they have to push the button for their mics, and maybe, we get fancy mics one day, it'll be like that, but at the current time, the meetings have kind of run amok. And so in order to get back to some organization, I thought it would be best if we all kind of went over Robert's Rules of Order, the simplified version. The basic rules of Robert's Rules of Order are that only one subject may be before a group at one time. So if we're, it's self-explanatory. If we're on a subject about one thing, we don't meander into another subject. Only one person may speak at a given time. Each speaker must be recognized by the chair prior to speaking. Each speaker should make clear his or her intent by stating, I wish to speak for or against a motion or whatever the subject may be. Each person speaks once until everyone's had the opportunity to speak, and the rights of the minority must be protected, but the will of the majority must prevail. That's self-explanatory. So there are easy ways to do things with Robert's rules, and they're all done by just motions. And I know a lot of you have done this already, so bear with me. If you want to bring up a new idea before the group, after recognition by the chair, present your motion. A second is required, and then it's open for discussion by everyone. If you have information that's considered necessary for the group, you can say point of information. To offer information that is considered necessary for the group, but it's not offered for debate. So the other day when Brian Hutt was in the audience and he spoke up to Michelle to give her some information, it was pertinent to what she was talking about. I think that's what that covers, if I'm not mistaken, and you're more familiar with this than I am.
Yeah, but just more so from the board. So if, when we were talking and Alderman said something about the utility,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was pertinent to that conversation, but it wasn't necessarily something that would change, the conversation, but it was information that should be known, and that would be a perfect example.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, you want more time to personally study a proposal being discussed. Move to postpone discussion. And that's, you would then pick a definite time or a date that you think, even if it's move to discuss at the next meeting or at a workshop. So you're tired of the current discussion. You can move to limit debate, and you'd be setting a period of time or a set number of speakers, and it requires a 2/3 vote. So if you've just had your fill, 2/3 vote after you say move to limit debate. You've heard enough discussion. So we just kind of just really wore the subject out. Move to close debate. This cuts off the discussion and brings the assembly to a vote on the pending matter. It requires a 2/3 vote. Okay, if you have a motion that's so outrageous it's intended to distract the group from resolving legitimate business, you can object to consideration of a motion. The motion can be objected to and ruled out without debate. However, if the chair does not rule on the motion being out of order, a 2/3 vote would be required. Okay, you want to postpone a motion until sometime later? Move to table the motion. A majority is required to table the motion without killing it. Okay, if you think a matter can be better handled without formal rules in place, and I think this is where we did really well at those first couple of meetings. You can call for suspension of the rules. Okay, this motion has to be approved by 2/3 vote, but the rules are not restored until after the rules have been restored. By saying rules are restored, you can only discuss things, you can't vote on things, but you can have a more back and forth discussion. It does require a second, and it's not debatable. Okay, if you're confused about a procedure being used and you want clarification, point of parliamentary inquiry, and then the chair will try and attempt to clarify the situation. Okay, you've changed your mind about something that was voted on earlier in the meeting. You can move to reconsider. If the majority agrees, the motion comes back to the floor as though the vote had not occurred. Okay, if you want to change a vote on an action from an earlier meeting, you can move to rescind. If previous notice is given, a simple majority is required. If no notice is given and it's introduced at that meeting, a 2/3 vote is required. Okay, you believe the discussion has drifted away from the agenda and you want to bring it back? You say, call for orders of the day, a demand that the group return to the agenda, and then no other people can speak. A no second is required, no vote is required, and it's not debatable. Okay, if you believe the rules of procedure are being violated, you state point of order. This brings the group's attention that the rules are being violated. The discussion ends, it's not debatable, and no vote is required. You want to take a short break? Move to recess. Just state a time, how long you want the recess. And if the meeting has just gone on too long, anyone can say move to adjourn. There's a second required. It's not debatable, not amendable, and it's done. And so unanimous consent, if a matter is considered relatively minor, you can say unanimous consent. I see this a lot. I know you all have seen this in the commissioner meetings when they have a whole litany of like 14, 15. They just get rid of it that way. You can interrupt a person speaking for just a few reasons. Point of information, point of privilege, and that's if somebody's cold, somebody's hot, you see, storms coming, I don't know, anything like that. Move to recess, calls for order of the day, and point of order. So even though the chair runs the meeting, there are ways that other people have to halt, kind of get back into perspective where we should be. So I wanted to go over those. If anyone has any questions, I don't know if I'll be able to answer it, but Michelle's first in that.
I just have one question. We could be in the middle of the meeting and we feel like it's going too long. Anyone can say, I move, okay, make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Even though we haven't covered everything. Would you still do that?
Well, at that point, and maybe either of you, Ben or Michelle, I believe that's after you've addressed everything.
It is, but it also, you couldn't do it like while somebody is speaking. So if you were in the middle of discussing something, I couldn't sit here and be like, move to adjourn.
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like after you finished and per se the meeting was moving along, somebody could say, oh, okay, that's what.
Yeah. Yeah. So, any other questions? All right. So, did I cover? Is that pretty much?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good start. I mean, there's a lot on here, and but there's avenues that you can get them in book form. We can also get Robert's Rules in digital form. In fact, it's actually required to be at the meetings every time we have a meeting. So the book is here, but we can always confer with the book if there's ever questions.
Does anyone else want a copy of that? I'm so sorry we went over something and I didn't offer you all copies. No? Okay. All right, moving on. Our next discussion for the interim town manager, back pay, job description, and salary. A lot of you have had time to think about this, and I know some of you have ideas, so I'm open to listen to anything that you may have.
Well, Jerry and I have discussed kind of a thought process behind what we would do as far as paying Michelle. I mean, what we discussed, I thought was a pretty good place we can at least start from.
Jerry?
I've spent a lot of time, a lot of sleepless nights trying to figure out the situation stuff, and I guess tried to go back and find out what she was doing, had to do, need to do, and just, I don't know if y'all took serious or not, but these two things that she's done for November and December thing, she stowed in with a key to the building and said, here it is, figure it out, and we thought the transition was going to be easy, but it wasn't, and she hit the ground running, per se. And on the first one, there's about 40 comments for items, stuff she's working on, stuff. By the second month, she got it down to about 30. So, it's, and that was, getting 10 done off the first one, so to do it and add a few more on and so forth. But there's, a lot of work, and I don't think a lot of people would just take it seriously just how much work is involved and what the responsibility is until you've had these type of responsibilities, and I was like, make the thing one time as fire chief. You got 30 people out there and you're on a fire and you got about 3 minutes, maybe or less, to make a decision. And you got 30 of our lives plus whoever's on the other end of the fire to make their decision. And you mess up and you just make field, or you tell them go this way or that way, or go in or go out or whatever, up or down. And so there's a lot of responsibility. Same with the city manager. And I seen that thing in New Orleans the other day, and where they had ramps, but they had never put the new ones out. They was using the old ones. And they put it out, and this guy went around everybody, shot 2 policemen on the way, and ran over tons of people and killed a lot of people. And basically, then they start, when the aftermath's over, well, who's going to blame? So they'll start, like city manager, for instance. It was her fault because she had or I say her, he had the ramps in the building, didn't put them out there, and should have known better, and he didn't train people how to put them out. So he was taking all responsibility. And then they'll go to the mayor, and then they'll just keep, wherever the pockets get deeper and stuff, and the sewage comes in to be settling in stuff. So if you take the responsibility of the job and you think about it, because you've got to oversee what the police are doing. And if they go here and shoot somebody, then, oh, well, did she have them under control, or they trained enough, or so forth, to do it? Did public works people run over somebody with a snowplow, or whatever? So all these things, or Sharon makes a mistake with her budget, and it's not intentionally, but she made a mistake. But it's her job to make sure what Sharon's doing is correct, what public works is done, and what police are doing, and then the employees in the thing. The water bills didn't go out till we got them today. But I've been to the post office every day, and I asked, and they were done 10 days ago, 2 weeks, normally when they would go out, and Knoxville lost them or put them in a dead file, and we got them today. And today is a deadline to pay your water bill. So, I mean, you've got to make adjustments and stuff, but it's her fault, see, because the water bills got hung up in the Knoxville post office, didn't do it, so it comes back to there, you know what I mean? So when you start thinking about responsibility, there's nobody in the world to take the job. So you just got to kind of close your eyes and go forward and just do the best you can do for these things. So after saying that, it then looked in the charter, and it, puts all the duties here, and basically that's what it said. They go over the staff, they over the police, money flow, the water bills, streets, the whole deal, and it's just a tremendous responsibility for the town. And so I talk to people that hire people. I talk to people that's not getting paid, so I'm not getting paid, trying to come up with a thing. I've checked with several cities and done a thing with what they're paying town managers opposed to what their budget is, what their population is, and, tried to come up with some kind of a place to start from, I guess to say. So what I have come up with, and kind of hear it out before you say, oh, it's too much or too less. It's just suggestion. It's up to the board thing. But after I came up with all my thinking and stuff was that this is a yearly salary. This is a salary of $54,600, and that's based on 30 hours a week work. So, I mean, it's a salary. It's not an hourly deal, but it's still got to be somewhere to balance in there of coming up with a figure. And Shelley's worked 11 weeks and 24, and this is to take it to June the 30th. Now, if she leaves before or works a month or a day or whatever, then it's adjusted in between there. But if she would say work of June the 30th, that's our new budget. And we need to sit down and really get serious, more or less, on what we're going to pay the town manager. And like I say, if she leaves next week or next month or whatever, I mean, we'll still be adjusted on that. But we would, if she goes out to the whole thing, we would owe her $38,850 from the time she started till the end of June. And then you worry about how we're going to pay her. And this is something we need to sit down and say, Sharon, between now and when we have a meeting to see if it is feasible and stuff. But we had one person that left from the water and sewer, I guess, or the streets, whatever, utility thing. And he was making $31,000, give or take $5. I think it's $30,995, something like that. Say $31,000. He worked 5 months, so out of his salary is still got 7 months. So, and that's not including benefits, but that
That's
leaves.
not including benefits, I'm sorry.
No, that's just
Just
his,
his-
that's his
okay.
salary.
That's just money.
And so that leaves somewhere in the neighborhood of $18,000 to $20,000
I'm not talking about the interview.
in that, in trailer. So, and like I say, Sharon, you tell me if I'm wrong. I'm just fishing here. We're looking at where thing. And then we agreed on $40,000 for a part-time clerk, or for a clerk, not a part-time clerk. Okay, we're in 7 months now that we haven't hired one, and it may be another month. We'll just say 7, but it might be another month. Or actually, if we hire somebody, put them on. And of course, this is good to June the 30th, and then when the budget comes out, we'll decide what our salaries and so forth will be. But there's approximately $23,000 in that $40,000 that we haven't spent. It's appropriated, but we haven't spent it. So, and then I didn't know. Did you look and see what we hadn't paid Sandy? We said she wrote us a check back. And, well, I don't think this is going to go into the fact of it. I mean, in this other part, but Sandy took short-term disability when she got hurt and decided not to take a check from the city. Still got her benefits and everything. And she got paid, but then she decided she got a short-term. When she did, she wrote a check back to the city. And Sharon thought it was $3,500 or somewhere in that ballpark. So, we're, and like I said, it's not concrete. It's just me figuring on the thing. There's about $45,000 that maybe could possibly be shifted from one thing to another to put it in there. And we're looking. I'm going to say the max is going to be $38,850 for from the start to the finish, I guess. So that's kind of what I came up with, and like I say, we there's no way she knows, we'll know, and if we can't trust her, we don't need her. Bottom line is, and I'm coming up with the hourly. Is she going to work this or work that? Or thing is, I know some weeks she's going to work 50 hours or 60, and then next one she may work 20, 25. But you got to salary, you got to put the base, and a lot of times you're paying for what they know, not particularly exactly what all they're doing too. I mean, you got the doctor today, and or my wife went to the doctor today, and that bill's going to be for what they know, not for what they did today. Stuff on it, but that's just and like I say, we just look at job descriptions and stuff, and there's stuff we can get down. But basically, the only thing I think maybe different was in this report that she gave us of what she's been doing is maybe every 2 weeks instead of waiting for a month, just kind of highlights it, bullet points. Just, hey, I'm working on this, the air conditioning, the roof, police, car, you don't necessarily give a full report, but at least we've got an outline of what's going on and what she's involved in and where she's going and coming back from and so forth. And then once a month that we would have, I guess you can call it an orientation or work session to where we sit down like we're doing now, and she's got her list. She says, well, we need to really talk about this and this and this and this, and I need some directions. Go on. Do we want to proceed on getting audio system? We want to get insurance. We want to do blah, blah, blah. So we can get more one-on-one with what she's doing and get the thing. If she kind of gives a highlight from where during the month, then we can know. And if we've got questions, we can ask her and try to be more on the communication between each other to think once. And And I don't know, I guess you work, if you're on salary, you try to work them as hard as you can. But
Shouldn't have.
I'd like to see her, you know, and she's doing part of it, is have lunch with Bristol, Tennessee, or meet, like have lunch, but with the city manager, same way at Kingsport, John City, Elizabeth, and all the surrounding areas, because these is the people that either Jeff's loved or Jeff if Baxter, but if they know you're in need, they'll take you under the wing a lot of times, and if you need something, you can pick up the phone, you know, you look at them in face to face, and you can work with them on a daily basis, you know what I mean? And Jeff had this with the lady at Bristol. I know when they was doing the line out here, said, we just don't have enough to do this. He took the phone in 2 hours, had a truck and 2 men sitting out here cleaning out the sewer line. And this is the kind of thing, the county commission, I know it takes a couple hours to go over, but I've heard numerous times, and I went the other night, just sat in, and I probably had 8 or 10 come up to me and say, hey, I'm glad you're over here. I hadn't seen you in a while. I'm glad what y'all done in Bluff City. You know, the mayor, the county manager is got a good positive stuff. We want to work with them. You know, maybe some money coming down the line here and here. You know, and these are just people I'd worked with over the years. It's involved with the county commission, you know. And it's just a matter of them getting out and going to the public to be involved with the library, the museum, community service, whatever it is. You know, it's a liaison because it's an extension of us going out. And the more she or he that can do this is stuff that we don't have to look over our shoulder and worry if it's going on or not. You know, we know it's taken care of.
Well, what Michelle is doing a 40-hour week at a regular job.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
And if I was thinking if Lori would be up for it, Lori could do some of those things. But going, as you said, the library, the museum, at least we would have a face out there. Lunch for Michelle, I mean, that's taking her away from her job. I mean,
I must say, I thought about that. Thing is, I don't care about her other job. I could care less. I mean, you know what I mean? Because what we're looking for is to hire her here, and I'm looking for her to do the job here. And if she can't do the job,
wait a minute. Are we talking about hiring Michelle?
no, I'm talking about for what she does.
Oh, okay.
And thing of what she does. And I told her, I said, you know, I worried about your job. I worried about you being able to take the meeting stuff. I don't care anymore because your job is not my concern. The city is. I'm talking about her other job. I'm not talking about the city job.
Know that.
Well, and if it gets to the point that she can't do her job, then it needs to be addressed and taken care of. If it gets to where she's doing more than and we want to do more than what she can do, then we need to address that also.
I was kind of thinking taking. I mean, I don't even know how many hours that Michelle has worked so far.
And you did ask me, and it would be impossible to really.
But she's going to have to turn it in to get paid.
Exactly. And I think she will have to, and I believe you are working on this,
I
just
mean,
a rough idea.
But we would, I mean, I kind of thought we would know one. And actually, I mean, surely you have some thought in your head about how many hours.
If I may say something, when you stated something about Lori maybe doing some of the things that
Well,
Michelle
like the
did.
library,
No,
not do her
Oh, no.
job.
But let's do this thing right. The mayor does not need to do anything that the city mayor. That's why we want it separated completely.
There are requirements that the mayor.
That she goes
the
to
mayor.
She's got her own thing, right?
But I think some of those things do overlap, don't they?
They do, and we are doing them.
Okay.
I am doing them. I mean,
As long
that's
as we
what I
keep
meant.
those. Oh, okay. As long as we keep those positions separate.
Well, they were talking about just seeing faces.
Well, but Lori,
that's
you do
what
that.
I'm talking about.
I do that
Like
at
a
the county
well,
commissioner meeting.
that's you do that. I didn't know that.
Oh,
So, there you go.
Oh, my apologies. I thought we had talked about this, that we'd gone to the county
Well,
commissioner.
yeah, I knew that, but what Jerry was talking about,
I think the charter states what the mayor has to attend.
Right.
Like,
I think so, it does a little bit.
But there are also things like when they did the big opening at the high school, they invited us
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Tomorrow, and this just was planned today, tomorrow I'm going to go meet with Mr. Hare, the principal at the elementary school. There are people who are reaching out to me who want to meet me.
Right.
And who just kind of want to see.
Well, that's what I mean about your
Right,
face.
right.
Your face
As long
out
as we
there.
just keep those separate.
And they are absolutely
It's
separate.
not, no, I'm definitely separate.
This is good cop, bad cop. You're the face. You have to be the evil. Well, I mean, you have to be the boss.
Exactly.
When it comes to salary, it's not hourly. Salary. When she's starting out, she got thrown into a just big old pile of it.
I said that
So
to
the
Michelle.
hours to begin with, there's going to be
More.
1,000 times more, and where she starts getting things in place
Yes.
and things running the way they're supposed to, where she can step back on the hours. So setting a salary, she understands that going in, that you might put 50 hours in, you might put 20, and that's salary.
Balance.
It's up to her to decide whether you can do your other job and this one as well. And I'm with Jerry. I don't care about your other job.
Y'all are brutal.
Well,
It's not being rude.
It's not.
It's like
No,
we have
no.
to consider the city first.
Well,
And
absolutely.
we understand she's got another job, but like what happens at her other job does not affect our decision making here. That's all I
Yeah, that's
think that's
what
what
I'm-
we're saying. I'm not trying to be rude.
It does.
Screw
We're
your other
here-
job.
we're here for
I'm
Bluff
talking,
City.
I am hearing that it could be, 1 week might be 30, next week might be 50. But you work them out because it's based on a salary. If you want to do, keep track of how many, 20 this week, 50 next week, come up between those two and have a number of hours in there.
I would like to see performance. If this board thinks she's doing a good job, then she needs a good pay rate. If she doesn't, then we need to go back to the drawing table and say, this isn't working the way we want it. We want her to put more hours in, or we want to replace her, or something like that. But we need to look at what she's done so far.
But we have in those reports.
Mhm. And when she-
And I agree with Jerry. Maybe, Laura, you suggested at one time, give us an update every 2 weeks.
And I was going to agree to that. I like that idea.
That might be the points Jerry was talking about.
Exactly, and kind of with the holiday, we've gotten away from that. And then one thing,
Yeah.
a couple other things, but I absolutely want to get back to that. And I would also probably maybe one time or 2 times a month sit in on the meetings that they have, just so I can hear, what's going on, and then go over with you what would be best to inform the board about, the most current, the most recent, the most important. One thing before I forget, the water bills. Maybe we'll address that at the end. There was an issue with the water bills, so we'll talk about that at the end. But yeah,
I think Bluff City needs to thank God that we have a citizen that's willing to step up, that actually lives here. Most town managers don't live in that town. That's willing to step up and do this job. That we have somebody qualified enough to do it. Here you go. Johnson City pays $195,000 a year, plus $700 a month vehicle. Bristol's $133, Kingsport's $191, Jonesboro's $131. You have Dayton, Tennessee, around 8,000 people in it. They still pay $109. You have a little place called Chapel Hill, Tennessee, south of Nashville, 1,800 people. They don't have a town manager. They have a town administrator. The difference is the town administrator has to go through the board on every single little thing, and they still pay her $64,000 a year. And she doesn't make any, she's hardly even doing any day-to-day, everything. So the board there meets like 7 times a month to be able to, That's a cool little town. They're a utility district, and they are thriving. 1,800 people, and they are thriving. That's a town you probably need to look at in the future. But they have an administrator, and they still pay her $64 a year. What Jerry's proposing is not outrageous at all. It's not, and I think we need to thank our lucky stars that we do have somebody like Michelle that's willing to step in and get us away from the ultimate power of mayor, town manager.
Oh,
together.
I totally agree.
that one's gone already.
Well, we want to make sure it's gone. We got to get it in
Well,
writing.
we want to make sure it stays gone.
Yeah, that's why we
Well,
have
we'll
to
get it in writing
Okay.
when we do.
I totally agree with you, Alderman Eric, because you know what we all gone through. And it's a blessing that Michelle stepped up, because we didn't have anybody. And the way things were, I don't think we would really be able to get anybody.
I don't either.
I really don't, because I've had people tell me that they wouldn't take it for $100,000 a year.
Are you saying we wouldn't get anybody from outside?
Well, the way things were going, it would have taken a while.
Okay.
It would have taken a while, because I've had people tell me that they wouldn't take it
Well,
today.
I said down here at a meeting I wouldn't take it when it was offered to me. So
And
But
she was set up to
anyway,
fail.
with all that said, I totally agree with you.
I had thought between possibility of maybe setting some hours. Mine would have been between 20 and 30 hours a week. Expectation. Not in stone, not at all. But as you and I discussed one night, you turn loose, let loose, and nobody said anything, and it just was thrown on you. And there should have been some guidance in place at that time, and unfortunately there wasn't. And should have been discussed at that time, and it wasn't. So the number of hours, and then yes, we get down to how much pay and how much total. Jerry, you were referring to 30 hours at how much?
Well,
$1,000 a week.
well, if it's
$1,000 a week.
it's
30 hours, 33 per hour, comes out to $1,000.
Well, I mean, I didn't.
And then
Go ahead.
based on that figure and our budget, it is almost perfect. We don't have to do any line item changes to match that dollar amount because of us not hiring a clerk yet and because the maintenance worker resigned. So the money that we're saving by those two things will completely cover $1,000 a week. And that's with back pay, and that goes through June when the budget runs out. So, I mean, I talked to Jerry on the phone for probably an hour on this issue, and fantastic job, Jerry.
Jerry worked
hard
Because
at it.
he
Well,
killed
he
this.
found the
and
money.
Well,
it's
I-
amazing. Now,
found the money.
there's another side to this, like Michelle's side, and again, I want to echo everybody else. Like, amazing. It's not only that you stepped up as a citizen, but I mean, your resume is exactly what I would want to see to hire someone for the position. I mean, that you couldn't be more perfectly qualified to do this. So, you know, I want to compensate you fairly too. I also want you to work hours that's fair to you as well. Like, I don't care about what your other job is, but
God, you all are horrible.
What I do care about is your sanity and your work-life balance and being fairly compensated for what you do. I know there's going to be a whole lot more on this front end than there is
On the back.
once you get some systems in place. This is going to be a lot easier. And I don't care if you work 10 hours one week. If there's a
That's
week that
me.
calls for it, I trust you.
Yes.
Like, you've proven to me you're going to kill this, and I just want you to be fairly compensated. I don't care if you work 5 hours. I don't care if you work 60 hours. I think it's more of a, we're paying you by the job. Like, if you handle the job and you can do that in 10 hours one week,
Yeah.
awesome.
Well,
If it takes you 40, and
Right.
you've got time to do that, and you can make that work, then
My
I'll be
num-
happy with that. But,
my
I mean, I would
number-
like for it to be a lower number, but I want you to be fairly compensated, and I appreciate the job you're doing.
My number
I
was
echo that.
about $240 more than what Jerry had offered. So And
We can always just do
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we can haggle on,
yeah, I
on,
mean,
on
yeah, I mean,
specific numbers,
yeah,
but
I
I mean,
mean-
I think with what Jerry and that's where, like, as a starting point,
Starting.
Absolutely.
it's pretty awesome because we're not going to have to dip into our coffers.
Right.
We're not, it's covered as of right now. And we can tweak some numbers to make it work better, but like as a starting point, that's pretty great. Good work
Yes,
on,
it was
on
great.
Jerry
Yes.
figuring that out.
and actually, I
Let
don't
me
even
say
think.
this, though. This is a Band-Aid fix. I mean, we got, the work is, for the budget next year, is where we're going to find the money. Now we're going to come up the money. Right now, we've got the money.
Right.
But if we've got to hire probably another guy back in Public Works to replace him.
I don't think
We've
we
got
do.
to, I'm just saying, if we have to do more stuff, it's a 6 months basically fix to take care of what we've already done and what we've got coming up.
To cover us.
But then we've got to look at it and see where the money is going to be and what our revenue is coming in and stuff. And we come in here and tell people we've got to raise our tax base 30, 40, 50 cents on a person. Well, they're going to, people's going to holler and say, do away with the town manager, do away with the police chief or something.
Well, they're not going to. I
You ain't going nowhere, Chief. Don't worry. Don't worry.
You ain't going nowhere. And neither is Michelle.
Gotta be a majority vote on the floor, Chief.
There you go.
Well, the
But we can work on that when that time comes.
Well, yeah, we've got that.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean,
Well,
if we
as
hired
soon as
those people,
Yeah.
that's going to be allocated for the in the budget for salaries anyway.
Exactly.
well, no,
Right.
what we
And
did.
now that we have
We were
a city
basically trading
manager,
half a
she may
maintenance
be able
worker.
to look at things and kind of switch things around or whatever. So, we'll deal with that when that
I think
time
it'll be
comes.
more streamlined once she gets more set
soon as,
in.
Sharon completed, I guess, with her audit, and we get this 6 months, we get an idea of what's, for the first 6 months, what's went on and what we spent, and are we overspending, are we underspending, what we had to buy, not buy, and what we had to fix. So hopefully, when she gets, all this done in the next few weeks here, then we can look at it, and then that's when we really need to start for
Yes.
next year.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we got to figure out how to pay for it.
Exactly.
We do.
We do have extra money. I don't want to burn through it because that's that camera money and it ain't coming back. So once we spend it,
because once it's
it's
gone,
out.
it's gone.
Until we figure out how to bring in money other ways. Like that's like a savings account that, like, if we keep dipping into it, eventually it's going to dissipate,
that
and then
savings
we're in trouble.
account goes away.
But you do know that we did spend quite a bit of money that we won't be spending this time. I mean, look at the $48,000 for the trash cans. Well, we're not going to be spending it this time. And then our building, that was what, $60,000
We're
a
saving a
month.
lot of money on
That's
that.
not. It's paid for. So we don't own this building. So that's $60,000.
And that's what we'll do with the budget.
There
We
you-
sit and we figure out
there
where we
you
can
go.
find the money.
There
And
you
that's a budget issue. We're
Well,
going to
I
tackle in
was
the
thinking.
summertime.
I was thinking about the roads. We'll talk about those
We'll talk
two
about that,
guys.
too.
The two guys in maintenance. They were taken for part time and full time. And actually, in the wintertime, that's really silly. They're needed in the summertime.
Well,
but
I mean, that was a prior.
I know that wasn't done by this board, but it was done the day of and left us in a pickle there. So, but I think there's like money for paving and highways and streets that we haven't touched yet. We might be able to squeeze that and push that one over someplace
We've
else too.
got to address paving and our roads.
Yes, we do, but we've not done it yet. That's
I know,
all
I
I'm
mean, we
saying.
have to, though. I
There's,
mean,
yeah.
Oh,
roads
it's
are in terrible shape.
and
A lot of them.
yes, it's not just the two that's been identified. It's a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of people, and I know I live on Park Swirly, and I swear I'm not saying this because it's my street. Like, I have no problem, because I come in on the other side. I don't even hit the school road because I can't during school hours. But I'm telling you, we got a lot of people that buses are few. There's not many buses. Everybody drops and picks their kids up. Like,
That's
very
awful.
few ride the buses. And we got hundreds of cars that are hitting these same beat up streets every day. At the Christian church, there's people going up on the high bank like they're at Bristol to get around that grate. And I mean, there's potholes. The whole route of the pickup and drop off, and everybody's hitting it time after time after time every day, 5 days a week.
And it breaks
180
more
days a
and
year.
more and more.
And I mean, if you're heading out of town toward Elizabethton, you're hitting potholes. I mean, you have to swerve. You have to almost cross the double line to miss some of them. And I mean, they just have. You can tell these places have not been paved in years. And I mean, our citizens are paying taxes. That's one of the things. Like, I lived in Virginia, and I paid a buttload of taxes to the state of Virginia, and my car would get beat to death. And I'm like, what am I paying for? Like, that was like really the first thing that hit me. It's like, why can't I just drive on a smooth road? They're taking 13% of every paycheck. Can that not pay for a nice street in my neighborhood?
Good luck.
But asphalt is black gold. It is outrageous.
Oh, yeah.
And there is no reason to pave any roads in this town if we have not fixed the water and sewer underneath them.
That's right.
Because all you're going to do is you're going to come right back in, you're going to
Rip
do
it up.
cross cuts,
And the
and you're
sinkholes
throwing
in
your
it.
money away.
Yeah.
And so I would love.
We'll
on
address-
Lakeview.
hey.
I would love to have Lakeview paved. I would
I
love
was
it.
on Lakeview. I hit them up every day.
People
Yeah,
float
so
going
many
down there.
Well, we need
down there?
to. We
I
need to
on there like-
get out
I'm
and
afraid, I
fix
just don't
the
want us to throw
streets.
money away. I would love to have them paved
Well,
as
fix
well.
the streets that water and sewer's already been done on.
I drove out
Start
Carter
there
Street.
first.
I drove out Carter Street because I had, with the alternate
Carter's bad.
alternate route for the school for me to get out of my house, I went Carter Street all the way out to 19, and I couldn't believe how bad that road was. I mean,
and I'm sorry about Lakeview
there ain't sewer
Drive,
lines on
but
that.
it
I mean, it's just a crappy ass
shape.
road.
And
And I
these
was
streets up here
I
are.
was sitting here like,
So that one jumped down way down on my priority list on that one, because when the one before said Lakeview Drive, and I'm going, these streets in here need it more than Lakeview Drive does.
Michelle, you might update on that Lakeview Drive. I asked Alan this week or last week, I can't remember what week it was, and because Carol said, well, you know, we only need $100 piece of pipe to put underneath that one thing, and we can fix it. Alan said that when they done the project for Lakeview Drive and that pump and stuff down there, that was everything was supposed to be done. Well, that where that cut is going on through there, and didn't know if Matter and Craig missed it, or Thomas didn't pick it up, or we didn't. We dropped the ball. Somebody dropped the ball. Anyway, there's a pipe going under there. It goes to 3 houses. I think it goes to the old
Used to be the
Store's
Marshalls.
house and those houses there and stuff. And that's one that needs replaced. I think he said it was 1.25 inches. And of course, yeah, it's just pegs and that stuff's not that expensive. It's not the pipe, but it's going to have to be opened up and actually a new pipe put in and then tapped on the thing. And that was stuff that I guess Thomas should have done, or Madeline Craig. And either they missed it, didn't get it on the map, didn't get it on the bid, or somewhere or another. So maybe if we talk to, let's know if Madeline Craig's bring it up to him, maybe talk to Alan and get a little better understanding and stuff.
That they
Because
might
it's not that we can't pave it, but it's a matter of
Fixing it.
You got to
it's what-
fix
like I
it.
said,
You
what
got to
they-
fix
you
it
don't pave
before
it
you
and then
pave
rip it up,
Yeah.
2 months, and then fix it and repave it. That's dumb.
And
So I don't know
and-
if it's somebody's mistake and we've paid for it and it hadn't been done, and we need to.
Well, if
talk
we
to them.
paid for it, by golly, they should fix
Well,
it.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was left in or just missed it on the
We'd
list.
have to go back to the project plans and see what was designed for, and then depending on what the outcome of that is there room for errors and omissions? Did they leave something out in the construction that was in the design, and those sorts of things? So, I mean, we'd have to dig into it, and Alan and I have talked about that extensively. Probably half a day, those houses would have to be out of water there at the front of the Lakeview to get that replaced.
Yeah.
But same thing, we didn't want to pave the road just to tear it up.
I can tell you more than likely the contract is not going to
Oh,
allow
they're
them
gonna-
to have to pay for it. I can tell you
They're
that.
going to deny it.
Maybe while they're in town,
Yeah.
if it has to be that, they need to do the cutting and the fixing, you know.
Yeah.
Because sadly, well,
It'd
as far
probably
as,
be cheaper to fix than sue.
well, sadly, as far as I know, we've never heard what this cost us out here to fix. I've never. Have you ever heard what that cost?
I've not seen any figure on it.
The parking lot out here, or the pipe out here.
Well,
the pipe.
where
Oh,
that'd
they
be
fix the stink down here.
oh.
I don't know. I thought I remember seeing a number. I can't remember what it was.
I
but
don't remember
I thought
seeing
there
the
was.
number. But you all might have saw it, but I wasn't on the board. No.
Yeah, well,
That cold air is coming in here.
It's a breeze.
a lot
I
of
can
times
feel
we
a
were
breeze.
just told what it was and
I
didn't see any
know.
paperwork
I
on
know.
it. So
I know.
you know, but I mean that's different.
Shane, cut that
Y'all better be turning that heat on. They got their coats on back there.
We're trying to.
Yeah, I know.
Good Lord, guys.
I'm good to go.
Well, the only thing, let's see, we're going to be doing it next, so I'll bring it up. Although it is in this part of the agenda too, the job description.
So Jerry's done a lot of work on this.
Yes.
He's done extensive work. He's found the money, and I think
Good job, Jerry.
it's just fantastic work.
Yes.
I had a conversation with him about this the other night after the commissioner meeting, and a police officer drove up to the car and wanted to know what was going on. Uh-oh. Jerry said we were sparking. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, that was before
yeah.
that was his time.
I know what it means now, but I thought, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what y'all were doing.
Tiny Town looked at me like I was. But those police officers are on the ball.
And on this, well, no people again. I took the liberty of contacting Bristol and Kingsport.
All right, so is
And
this?
their job descriptions are in bullet form, and it is so much simpler.
I don't think this is gonna
than
require-
ours is.
An ordinance. I don't think it's going to require anything.
I don't
it's
think
just
so.
a matter of, it's just an action that gets done.
We
Wouldn't
vote
it
to
fall
do it.
under discussion? And we can't vote tonight.
No, I'm saying in a board
Yeah,
meeting or a
it
special
can
call.
it can be done on the agenda. It could be done in a special call, even
We can-
if
we can
you've
do a
got
special
something
call.
else that you want to put on the special call. But it can be done under discussion action.
That exactly, and it can be done. I think it should be done sooner rather than later.
Well, I think it should be done on the next special call meeting.
We
So-
can call a special call.
Let's go ahead and pick a date for a special call.
Well,
Did you-
Okay, is-
are we?
did
You know,
you-
are we all in agreement about
That's
the
what I was
dollar
gonna
amount?
say.
I am.
Okay,
I
so-
am.
Okay. Do you want to just review one more time the dollar amount? And
Yeah.
Just go over
Yeah,
just
let's-
like a bullet point really
Um,
quickly.
And
I mean,
it
not
can be
quickly.
subject to change later on.
Yeah.
By the time you have a special meeting, when they can,
I mean, she might like my numbers better if things progress
Well, that would
more
be-
along, but
Yeah, and that would be after this is decided,
Right.
her decision, if this is where, if she's happy with
This is getting us started.
Yeah.
yes.
I think it's a starting point. I mean, that's all any of us, I think, is asking
Mm-hmm.
for, and I think
And then it's
And we will revisit.
And something was said earlier that should really be just overstated as much as we can. We can trust her. We can absolutely trust her.
I agree.
I know I do.
I do. I would trust you. I would sign you up as like my contact for emergencies. That's how much I trust you.
I think it really matters that she is a Bluff City resident.
I agree.
You know,
your neighbor don't.
I think that's got.
Yeah.
We'll talk about bad
it's
neighbors
got a pro. It's got a pro and a con on it.
And I don't say this very lightly. I think she's fair, and I think if we do wrong, she will make sure we all be held accountable for our actions.
What are we doing wrong?
I'm not saying we. I'm talking about anybody
Oh.
that she's over. Well, even with us, I mean, hey, bring me in check if I need to be checked. You know.
She doesn't have that authority over it.
Well, I know that, but I would accept it as a friend rebuking in
sure.
love. You know, 'cause
Well,
none of us is perfect. We all make mistakes. But as for a city manager, you know, I do agree with Alderman Adams and Alderman Eric. You stepped up to the plate. right on time. You are a blessing, and we are blessed to have you. And again, I echo, I do believe that you will be fair with our employees, and you are somebody that we're comfortable with, that we can talk to. And I don't trust very many people, but I trust you.
So what did you suggest, Jerry? 30 hours?
Yeah, so, you know, come in that line, and it's, of course, a yearly thing. It's $54,600.
How much was it, Jerry?
54,600.
That's on a yearly basis. And since
Mine would have been 64,480.
well,
How much?
64,480.
64.
now if you go, now if you take it to 40 hours,
That was based on 40.
it's 70,000.
No,
No, his number would be
Oh,
70,000
okay.
at 40 instead
Oh,
of 30 hours.
no. Well, then, yeah, yours was higher then.
Yeah. So,
And that doesn't include benefits. So, like, if we hired a
Right.
full-time manager at 40 hours at that salary, it'd be around $80,000 with benefits.
Yep. But benefits are that silent thing. You don't see it, you just get it.
Well, there's value in it because if you
Well,
don't
of
have
course
benefits,
there's-
you have to pay
there's-
for
Basically,
it.
Of course
Like,
there's
that
value,
comes off
but
your
I'm
salary.
saying it doesn't show
It's,
up on your paycheck.
38,850.
Per hour, is that what you're saying?
No,
that's
that's-
for the
that's
total
for
amount.
Oh, okay.
Her until the end of fiscal year,
38,850.
from the time she started till fiscal year.
It's 37 weeks.
Then a great help that she has, she's got good department heads also.
Yes.
So that helps a lot.
That's going to be, I think that was your only salvation down here, was having good department heads.
Department heads and their employees.
Was you?
If you look back and consider all the changes that not only the board but the community went through in a very short amount of time, between bringing on a town manager, losing a mayor, having a second resignation, going through an election, still having an open seat on a board, having all these kind of decisions that we waited till we had a board to even make. And then to go further and still, okay, we still need to bring another member on board. This community has been through so much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I went through the same thing with
And I will tell
Irene,
you-
if you remember, right
The
then.
21 employees, not counting myself, are what really kept this town afloat. They stepped up to every challenge. In the administration, they kept right on running, kept right on going, kept right on going. Police department, they kept going out there. They started throwing ideas, saying, we need to look at this, we need to look at Public Works. Holy cow. It only took a couple of weeks and Public Works came out of their shell and they're going, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this.
They were oppressed.
They-
Exactly what
they-
was going
they
on.
were
allowed
to
do their job.
Well, they
were
felt
comfortable.
comfortable.
Yeah.
They were comfortable.
And
Everybody
and
was
they've been empowered.
uncomfortable. Present company included.
Boy, you all getting acted up there all the time.
Only God knows.
I think when you consider, somebody said it earlier, that there was some intention to set us up for failure as a community, as a board. Boy, did we rise above.
He got that
How
wrong.
much did the community feel in a negative way?
Oh, he told us we didn't feel negative, that we were kissy and lovey-dovey down here. That's what he said.
But we weathered this storm amazingly. We're still weathering.
Yes,
Just
we
an
are.
editorial. The comments that I have received in just the last couple of months from people that I interact with in my job, who are county commissioners, I've received more interaction with the public and with other members in this community in the last couple of weeks, and had more positive interactions in the last couple of months than I did 3 years of being on that board prior to this. So that's telling me
And that
there's a
was
lot of
sad.
people, in the county commission, work in various departments in our county that are on board with what direction we're going.
They're for us.
Yeah.
I know. I
They're
went
for
to
us.
a few
I was-
Christmas luncheons.
Can I say it
and
is-
spoke
I
with
couldn't
several
believe-
people, and they spoke very highly of you
Can
and
I-
our mayor
can I
and
say-
our board.
I just can't believe the difference from prior administration to this one. How starkly different. I thought, during the last administration,
Ooh.
that our reputation was. I mean, I think it had improved some, but I didn't know behind the scenes how much destruction was
Oh
occurring
my Lord!
around us.
Destruction.
Yeah,
Destruction.
and then
People
when
trying
it
to destroy
changed,
you.
all of that kind of
Then
came
they-
to the surface.
Then they came.
That's when it's
they
like,
came
hey,
out.
so glad you all are doing what you're doing now.
Did it
I've
come
heard
down
that
to
from
the
so many
fact
people.
when he would say, went to this meeting, my very good friend, that was not a friend.
No, that was all just a charade.
This board needs to
Eric,
be-
you know it's been rough. It's
It
rough.
has, and Bluff City politics has had a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. My
Never
my
seen it
my
before.
wife's grandfather lives in Alaska, North Pole, Alaska, and he heard about me maybe getting in the Bluff City thing. Now he's lived in Alaska for 16 years. And he said, "Ooh, why? Bluff City politics is nasty." That's what everybody thinks.
I would have never believed it until this time. I've never seen such evil in my life.
This town is going to go through more storms.
Yes.
And if this board can come together, disagree is fine, but come together to work together for the utility department, for the police department, we have to be ready to weather those storms. And we can't be bickering. We can argue, but we can't be bickering between each other. We have to be ready for the next storm.
The storms will
I think the
come.
bickering is to be done here in these kinds of settings and workshops. When we're on a BMA meeting, we don't need to be yelling
Right.
back and forth. That's the old way. That's I can't remember the guy's name, but there was a damn fist fight in this room. He got arrested.
John Harrison.
Okay, so
John Harrison.
that's the
That's
kind of
who it
stuff
was.
we don't want to make the news because we're acting like yahoos and stuff like that. That has
Like
happened in the past.
rednecks.
Like we want to present well at these BMA meetings. We want to present well at special call meetings because news shows up and they don't tell us a lot of times when they're coming.
We want to be in the news, but not for that.
Not like
right?
that.
We don't
We
need
want your mug on it saying we're awesome, smiling real big.
exactly.
Well, she's the mean one.
But in workshops, we can duke it out in here. That's what a workshop is
Right.
specifically for.
Right.
But in these other settings, I think we really need to show unity.
Yeah.
And that we're working together. And like you said, we can disagree all day long. I disagree for a living.
Yes.
That's what I do. I love it. I don't mind it. It doesn't scare me. But I don't want our town to look like we don't know what we're doing. That we're, it's just, for lack of a better term, just a shit show to tune into and watch. I don't want that.
We represent this town.
Right.
And we can agree to disagree without plotting or trying to hurt each other
Or being rude.
backbiting or
Yeah.
whatever.
Disagreements
And I always
are
tell
good
people,
things.
if somebody ever come to you and say, Carol said this, please come to me and ask me. Let's get it straight.
And I think what you said is very important. We represent this town.
We do.
We don't own this town.
That's right.
We represent this town.
We're
We're
public
working
servants.
for this town.
Ain't the boss of nothing. I don't want to be the boss of nothing. She,
Back off.
she's the boss.
I would like to add something.
Sure.
And as the department had been here for a while, I can tell you, I can feel the mood in my department when we have good meetings. I can feel the mood when we don't. I can see the concern, the worry. Where's my future? Where am I going? Do I want to invest here? Do I want to work here? Stability. And as I shared a conversation today, we need it. People need to know things are good with you all. It's a pleasure. I can sit here and teach you, and I can feel what I feel just watching you all. And it's great. It gives you, it encourages you to hear positive things and do things. So I'm just thrilled because I know the employees are very happy with the board, and especially with the way the town manager is, mayor with you. We are extremely excited, encouraged, and just happy with everything. One more thing I'd like to add too. When you talk about hourly salary, since she has accepted, and thank you for doing it, the job as town manager, I have probably had a conversation or a text every weekend with time down when, in the evenings at night. So I would say every weekend, probably, we have shared a text, email, phone call, something. So it's hard sometimes. That job never ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's whether you're saying 30 hours, 50 hours, 80 hours, at the end of the day, she's the city manager 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. At the end of the day, I'm a police chief 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. But it's time here. But so I want y'all to know she has always been accessible, available at any time. And she even told me one time she stopped saying you're irate. Because her, so I want y'all to know she's been amazing. That's all I got to say to add that. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And people have been very positive in the commissioner meetings, and just, when we're out, we've gone somewhere, people are overjoyed. Overjoyed. I always hear Bluff City is a gem.
I've been hearing a lot of good feedback. Yes. Good.
Yeah, this is the most positive feedback I've in doing this job. And I mean, we had holidays and stuff like that, so I'm not even interacting as much as I normally do. I mean, I go to Bluntville, we go to the courthouse. I'll have 3 commissioners that will talk to me and say, "Hey, man, love what y'all are doing, man."
They wouldn't talk to you before.
No, it wasn't like that. It just. They didn't talk to me about what was going on.
It's
either.
it was like,
"How you doing, buddy?" That would be the conversation. But now the conversation is, "Hey, man, I love the direction y'all are going.
They did.
Please come to the meetings. We'll help you out. You let me know what you need."
They sure
I didn't get those conversations in 3 years of doing this until we changed. So, I mean, I think we have a lot of opportunity because I think a lot of people are wanting to help us.
I totally agree.
That's it. I think a lot of them
they
now
weren't
want
really
to.
willing before. So,
well, like I said,
we can do this.
Said that we was told down here that everything was lovey-dovey and fluffy and fairy tales, and it wasn't. It was mean and harsh and nasty. And
Well, there was a lot of the things that we were left in the dark.
in the dark.
In the dark.
I think we've been overcoming it very well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's bright. It's just.
And this don't look bad.
Everything is looking. Everything is looking better.
Absolutely.
Everything
Because
is
there's a lot of
definitely
help
looking
out there
forward.
for us.
Yeah, I
There
think
is
we
a lot
all
of help.
should be optimistic. It's great opportunities.
We're going to
I agree
all
with
get
that.
there. We definitely, we're going to all get there.
There's a new fishing cabin type opening up soon, and it's the owner of Cootie Brown's,
Oh, yeah.
and he's going to open up, and it's going to the
Tony Vella.
Tony Vella.
We're at.
He's opening up a cabin rental.
It's going to be
Place.
like, like a retreat, like a lodge.
Yeah, like a lodge for like businesses to come in, and they're
C-suite executives,
tax.
high-level
Hey,
Exactly. But
But-
bringing
Nice.
high-level officials here, it's going to be on. It's actually on Sandbar Road. It already exists. They just got their
Where,
approvals.
what
to
road?
Sandbar.
Sandbar.
Where,
What about the tap house? Do y'all have any information?
He was planning on opening in early December, ran into some setbacks.
Yeah, so
but
he's
yeah.
been working on it. I've
Yeah,
seen the
it is.
activity.
Friday would be.
I'm on his page.
Friday.
It's set to be open soon.
I'm just trying to figure out where that cabin thing is at.
Oh, really?
It's not in Bluff City, though, is it?
So in District 5, it's right across in District 1. But, so after the meeting, at the commissioner meeting, Jerry went out and started talking to him because he knew him. So I introduced myself, and then I introduced Michelle. He was very excited to meet with us and said he wanted to invite all of us when he got something together for the opening. So
He might have something tricked down here that he can do down here with the lake area down here. You're talking about bringing
That's the thing that's
money.
great about this opportunity. If he does well with it, guess who else is? There's going to be plenty of other people.
yeah,
That is a gold mine out
Yeah.
there, folks.
yes it is.
Because
Yes,
for a while,
it is.
nobody,
And
we
we-
got to the point nobody wanted to touch Bluff City.
They want
got
to
the
now.
point that
And
nobody
we've got
wanted to
tourism
touch.
working with us now. Tourism was told, we don't need you. Now, Alicia.
We got a NASCAR track.
4 miles.
I can hear it from my house.
4
when they're
miles.
racing.
Right, right.
Like,
miles.
we get some nice places to stay on a lake summer race. And there's plenty of money for us to draw upon, but we got to get
Exactly.
people who want to invest and have attractiveness to this
Exactly.
area.
And
But I mean, that's a good start. You get something like that started, it's doing well.
Then it's gonna-
He's going to want to
it's gonna
invest
boom.
more.
And then
there's
their
going to be other people
friends-
saying like, "Well, hey, he did it. Look at what
Yeah,
he's doing."
It's a
my
long
friend
time down the
did
road.
it.
Bluff City's going to have to look in some kind of annexation to be able to grow.
We did. We annexed Piney Flats, but
Only
we
the
did nothing
roads.
with
Only the
it.
roads.
Yeah, only the roads.
Only the roads.
You don't get the revenue.
including the revenue from like where Food City and all that is, you know.
That's under the red light. We get none of that.
No, but coming and going, you know, you got to pass through, you got to stop, got to get gas, got to.
That's why I always stop that marathon, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Weigels are marathon.
Yeah.
They don't go to the BP.
Martin King's in Bluff City.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so's KFC.
And there's a lot of land right there that can be developed.
Yes,
There's a lot of land.
It's been for sale
but it's
forever.
got to
But we
gotta
got
find somebody who's interested in doing it.
honey,
There has to be a way to attract that.
yeah, we've got to lay water and sewer lines too for it.
That's another thing. That's my concern.
So. Water and the sewer.
And we didn't get that on the agenda, did you?
No. This
Remember, I told you that I would like to have that on there.
Well,
Discussing.
I have board member comments on here,
Okay,
so you
okay,
can say.
okay, that works.
Alrighty, so if that's buttoned up, we will go ahead and set up a special meeting to approve it, and that'll be done.
Okay.
And so we will.
Well, we haven't really heard from Michelle.
Well,
if she would accept that.
Exactly. So now it's in her, the
I
ball
want
is
to
in
vote.
her
Did
court.
they say I quit?
You're right.
It's not enough. Screw you guys. I'm out. Because I mean, yeah, she works for us, but she got a lot of leverage because she can walk out.
but she hasn't gotten up and left.
Yes. Next on the list would be hiring.
She is still in her chair.
As
over
much
there.
as we'd like for you to stay, you got to do what's best for you. Okay?
True.
You got to do what's best for you.
Agreed. You know, I want to do what's best for the community. So if things are working and things are going well, and I feel like they really are, I'm happy to stay as long as it takes. If that changes in the future, you know, that changes in the future. We roll with that as it comes. I'm not about to abandon anything.
Why would it punish you? Would it? I'm just saying you could.
No.
We have no idea what the
I'm-
future is ever going to bring.
Right? I'm here as long as you all accept me to be here. And honestly, I don't plan on slowing down. I feel like continuing to charge
I think
forward.
you're kind of enjoying it.
We've got some great momentum.
You're doing things not really like what you've done in the past.
Yeah, it's different.
The
And,
training might has helped you do what you're doing, but this is not in your realm of what interacting with water and the maintenance people here and the police department. That's what I mean.
Honestly, I did a lot of that at the VA in my
Yeah,
different jobs.
she did military. I
I
bet you ran into
interacted
that a
with
few times.
Pretty much every department that existed. But
Would you share about the your interactions with the other town managers?
yes, actually. So I have been interacting with the Bristol town manager. She is fantastic, a very smart lady. And in our last conversation, she alerted me that her and the town manager of Kingsport and Johnson City, they try to get together quarterly and have lunch and just kind of discuss things. And she was going to include me in that next invite when it comes out. And her and I has also agreed to try to maybe weekly or bi-weekly get together, even if it's just to grab a cup of coffee, which, by the way, I told her to come to South Fork. We'll meet there one day, and she's all about it. She's never been there before.
Voted the best in the Tri-Cities.
They're fantastic. But as luck would have it, there are some changes that I think I'm going to get her title wrong. I think it's the Surveyor of Properties for Sullivan County. She's looking at making some changes, and so she reached out to the town managers and said, let's get together, have a discussion. So last Tuesday of this month, myself, Kelly, and the Jump in Kingsport are going to be meeting up in Kingsport and talking about what those changes look like, if they're favorable or not. So I think that network is starting to grow.
Well, that is fantastic.
And that
Well,
would be
see,
fantastic.
actually, our police department works with Bristol and Kingsport on our drug activity that we do, and we split whatever we do. So, see, the pieces can come even more together as we're doing stuff like this.
And I think they will. And I think if we keep that attitude, we have that positive attitude, and we keep pushing forward and trying. I mean, we're already attracting a lot of that. And I think if we just keep it the way it's going and keep pushing it forward, it's going to keep happening. It's going to grow, and it's going to grow. And
It's when we really get serious about
Can I speak to you for a moment?
Me?
Yeah, can I speak to you?
one to a 2-year strategic plan projection.
we do need
That-
to,
that-
at some point,
yeah.
talk strategic plans.
Yeah.
And that would be great for one of the sessions that somebody, I think maybe Jerry had said that we can do, like maybe one of these kind of discussions is just talk about like town-related things from the town manager. We really need to look at different kind of equipment, building maintenance, things like that,
Absolutely.
which would be great in a session that's like focused on those sorts of things. So the board
But then
can
the
drive
interim,
which
maybe-
direction that goes.
Maybe Lori could let us know the age of these vehicles and the mileage of these vehicles. And
Yeah, and we've already started on reports for those. So if we could have a good targeted discussion
I'd
where
love
we
to
do
see an
this,
assets list.
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Maybe
and
an
and,
appreciation list.
and the very fact that we know
We don't
it-
even have those. We didn't.
But she's doing it. She's doing
No, I mean, I
that.
know she is.
Yeah.
We didn't have
But-
any of that.
but-
We didn't even have an inventory.
Yeah,
we had.
But we're getting
We
ready
need to
to
know
replace
what we have,
Yes.
how much it's worth, how much it's
Vehicles over
depreciated,
here. We've
what
got
the
to.
term of
Yeah.
use was going to be.
You must have watched an appreciation video.
I did watch that video.
I'm telling you, those
Actually, I
classes-
watched those 3 videos twice.
Yeah, they were a lot.
I watched several of them. I went back and watched a couple of them.
But yeah, and that's when we got off on having everything as built, having the company come in. We can't make a 3-year, 5-year, and 8-year game plan.
Don't know
We
what-
don't know what we have.
Exactly.
Right,
And
right.
do we have a time frame on that? I know
Yeah,
we were
we wouldn't even be able
on
to
the coming
realistically tell
Madam and Craig doing
tell a
that
bank
asset
what we could
plan.
put up for collateral.
Hell no, we couldn't.
I feel like it's
You know,
We got some
these are
drugs.
very important things.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, we don't know. Like, there could be some.
Are we ready to
And we don't.
move on?
What do we do if we go to bar?
That's actually another thing that we need to discuss. So, you see these things, these events that happened, the wildfires and the train derailment.
We do not have
We-
a system here.
We
I've
need
thought about that.
Yes, we need to work.
We
with-
have
We need to plan for the worst.
We have never
Yes.
come up with a
And be ready
disaster
for it.
plan. And you know when it hit me the most? When we had Helena came through here, and we actually had Heritage Days up here. It was like we sat on an island out here, and everybody around us got swamped.
When it hit me was the East Palestine, Ohio, the train derailment, and that town was left for dead. And the people who came in to fix things didn't fix things properly, and the burn. And now there are people who are never going to go to that town again. We've got
Look at Irwin and Unicorn.
yeah.
Well, we know it's weather. Weather is one of them, and we do have to have something set up here for
We're
a
major
disaster.
train town.
And
We are a major train town.
train.
I mean,
And let
you'll
me
sit
tell
there
you
and see
something.
what the chemicals are coming through this
Don't,
place.
honey, don't think for a minute that those helicopters, because they fly over that.
Oh, I
they,
saw 3 flying over yesterday
Yeah.
on the way to the courthouse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
They fly
Whoa.
over my house all the time.
I think we need to have
A
a
disaster
serious
plan.
workshop. But I also think that, Michelle, when you do talk to the town managers, find out what their plans are, because the train goes
absolutely.
in all these areas. And if we could start with something that they have.
They may
And
actually know a whole lot more.
the other thing that happens is, and the chief has done this before, when there's a massive accident, when there's something going on, he alerts Michelle, and I am alerted because someone's going to have to stand in front of a camera. Someone's going to have to give a report.
Right.
And if we don't have a plan, we're not going to be able to say much.
We'll look
So,
silly.
And plus, that just goes for the future. Like, whenever these
Absolutely.
positions change out, we need to be, whoever steps in will know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, if we,
And the bottom line is the citizens, to make sure the citizens are safe.
Right.
The citizens, where do I go? What do I do?
Exactly.
We should have traffic control plans wrote up for an accident on any street in this town, and how we're going to detour them and what we're going to do that. I mean, that's
No,
not
and then
hard.
you-
There's a uniform
turn-
manual for
You
that.
turn around and you put it
It's
on.
really not.
We just,
school,
let me say this.
with
The
this
school
Carter
alone,
Street.
You need a school
It's a
bus
disaster.
for sure.
it's been a nightmare to say the least. But you're very limited on what you can and can't do. And when you take the safety aspect into it too, you got kids and buses and everything. It took us a little bit working with the school to get it figured out. And it's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. It works, but there's really no other better way to do it.
And that's what
That's the
Get
kind of
something in place and then keep tweaking
Sorry,
it.
Yeah.
you ain't getting home.
No, you're
for a
not.
while.
You're not getting to work, and you're not getting
Literally,
home.
one person, they were literally just on the grass waiting for the school line to empty out because they couldn't get, just couldn't get in.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
But I mean, it's temporary. I get that, and I live by the school too. I account for that. Like I know if I'm coming home between like 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, I want to just sit somewhere and grab me a coffee. You might just stay at the courthouse and do some paperwork.
Do you just go down here to South Fork, pick you up a coffee, and just and
Sit inside, watch the lake.
put your laptop,
Yeah.
put your laptop in. So, well, we're ready to move on to the next one.
All right, so discussion, town manager, hiring, job description, and salary/benefits. So at this point, we do have a job description that was done by a previous board that was that Pete Auger had put together. I think that's a fantastic start. I'm not even sure if you want to go. You already hashed that all out back then.
No,
And I don't know if it's something you want to tweak, if you feel...
Well, I showed this to Ben earlier. This I got from Bristol and Kingsport. And I mean, they did theirs in bullets.
yeah.
And I mean, they really say what's necessary on there. Yeah, ours, I'm sorry, I found it to be kind of vague-ish.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think there's a little bit to that because
We're so
this is a
small.
very specific, like
That one's even vague too, but it's still more specific.
the skill set for the job can be. It can come from a lot of different areas because of what you're managing. It's rare. That's what I was saying about Michelle. Is like her skill set is so uniquely geared exactly to this that it's almost impossible to find somebody that's going to meet the protocol. And that's why it's vague. It's like,
Well, when you
know
compare
about
what
this,
we've
know
Right.
about that.
Like
If there's
you've seen
different
this
things
one,
that
right?
people are going to do
Okay.
well. Like if you're focused on
I've
grant
some of
writing,
that.
pulling
I
in
like
money,
the way to read.
more of a managerial
I'm not saying
aspect,
it's wrong.
you're not going to find somebody that does all that stuff.
Some points on that. And
You know,
the
you're
one
going to have to
from-
pull somebody
that was
from
Bristol.
an area that they're
Look how
really strong
small
in
one
and then
you
get
can
better in
see.
other
They've
areas.
almost had theirs on
And
one page.
Which
the
is
size
why-
we are and what we can afford
And
to
I
pay
just think,
for,
why can't we
we're
do
not going to
that?
get a
Something like- we
seasoned
got a
town manager that
four-pager
spent
here.
20 years running Memphis to come in here and,
agree.
and run our show.
I agree. And
And I think
a lot of that she's
Michelle,
done.
I mean, she's doing it now.
She's doing
And I think she can kind of find her way around the room, get things done. And if you need help, you know who to reach out to.
So we're
But
happy
I
with the
do-
job description? You don't think we need to...
I do think, you've got to solidify something, though. So, I mean, anything can happen to me tomorrow, right? You need to be prepared for not only that, but at the end of the day, you've got to hold me accountable, right? So, what do I have to go on? I have to go on your immediate feedback or what's in the job description. So, if there's something I'm not doing, without a job description, how do you come to me and say, Michelle, you're not meeting this expectation? Where is the expectation? Oh, nope, it's listed right here. We expect you to do this. So there is a lot of value in that job description. And it really should be on file, and it should be something that the board says, yep, we accept this, and the employee accepts. And that's for every position.
But you've seen
Right.
the one Pete Auger did. I mean,
That's what I've got right
Right.
now. Yeah. So he and I sat down right after everything happened in October. He spent 4 hours with me one morning, and we went over everything in detail. And I reviewed it a couple of times, and I reviewed it again today, and I think it hits really the high points. I mean, it certainly highlights just how much responsibility and
she's doing the job. She don't know
liability
what
is on this position. But it does give you something to say, hey, this is exactly what your city manager should be doing.
Right.
And if I'm not doing it, you can say, we said you had to do this.
To be held accountable.
You need to do that.
Well, and if there's something you're doing that's not on there, add it. Like, let us know. Hey, we need to
That's a
put
good
that in
point,
there.
too.
Yeah,
You know,
we got a good
like,
place.
I'm doing
Somebody
this.
comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a great pay.
We actually did run the ad, didn't we? It never ran?
Never
We
ran.
never got there.
I don't know why it didn't get there.
It didn't run because,
Well, I
trust
know
me,
why it didn't
I'll,
run.
I'll take care of it. No salary needed. I'll do it.
Because there was a schedule for the timelines. So I don't think any of that ever happened. It looked like
None of it did.
advertising was going to be April, May of 2024. Have resumes by June.
It never happened. It never
He asked the board to trust him.
No, he asked it, but
That's
he did that, and then
job description.
the board just let it go. That's the truth. The board never followed up.
Well, I think there's a lot of trust that he was going to do.
Well, we thought everything was going okay.
Eric, I can send you a copy of that too.
I would love
You trust people from behind people lie or not, and they
Or have a dossier on you.
break up the last one. Oh my God! Oh, that's sad. That's sad.
All right, so do we feel we
Yeah, I
got
didn't get that one.
You didn't get the. I thought I sent the one to you, which
There's Alderman Eric's talking about politics.
Whatever that is, I didn't get that.
I've never experienced
Those are the two I
anything like
sent
it
you?
in my life.
I'm
serious.
Okay,
I
have
never
these
have.
from Pete, so I will
never
send them to you,
have.
and I will send them to you.
Great.
I thought I would.
People try to destroy you.
Oh, they want to.
I will send them to everybody.
The previous,
Or we have a meeting, next
the
week.
description that was done before, it was never given out to any of the citizens. I was just a citizen then.
When you came on the board, I thought I sent it to you. My apologies. And I think I thought it was before a meeting.
Oh, I got the job description. Yeah, you sent
You
me
didn't get the
job
report
description.
on the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I'll try and get it to you this evening. Okay, so do we want to have any further discussion on hiring a town manager, or we're good right now?
I'm fine.
Oh, we move forward.
Say again. I'm sorry.
Move forward. Are we not? Have we made a decision that we're not going to move forward to hire a town
I think
manager?
we move forward and look at that, because,
That we're going to look.
and get it what we need. In other words, what we want for a town manager, and what some qualification, stuff that you're already working on, because we don't know where we're at until we get
Right,
thing on it. So as we go on,
but right now we've got a plan through June.
yeah.
We need to secure the one we have. now.
Right, right.
But we need to start looking.
Yeah, still work on.
Yeah. And not that these two bulletins. I kind of like the way Bristol and Kingsport did theirs. It's not a 4-page resume or a job description. They kind of shortened theirs down to 2.
Why don't we see where we're at when June comes?
Well,
Well,
I'm curious just to see what kind of interest we would have, even if we don't. I mean, we're happy with Michelle. As long as she's happy, I don't want to replace her.
Right.
But I would like to just put feelers out,
To have it on file.
run it,
Just in
and
case.
see what kind of response and what kind of things we're looking at. So when we need to do it for real, like, we'll know, like, hey, we're not offering enough money because look at the crap we got on this trial run. Like, I think we should just run it, because, I mean, we've already voted to hire a town manager.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just run the job description and run the ad and see what kind of response
Don't
we get. We
change
don't have to
that.
hire anybody.
and
Right,
don't change
right.
that
Until we're
job
ready to hire
description
somebody,
in
but-
any way at all.
Well, I mean, I don't care what the job description is. I just want to see what kind of response
Feedback.
are we going to get. If we offer a city manager job at this town for $65,000, and all we get is like 2 kids fresh out of grad school from Georgia and Texas, then we're going to know we're going to need to fix that, because we need something better than that. So is it? And then we can evaluate. Do we need to pay more? So when we do hire the full-time person, like when we go to do the hiring, we've never done that before.
No.
Like, we've not hired a town manager in a long time.
I
So let's do a trial run
yeah,
to see
and
what kind
I
of
have
response.
looked down that road of even how to interview them, especially if they live different places. We'd have to video cam interview them, because
No,
paying
I mean,
them
if
to
you're
come
interested in
here,
this job,
you're
you're going to come here. Like, initial interviews, like if we've got 10 candidates, we need to shorten it down to 4. You know,
I'm saying, what
we
is-
can video interview
There are other
the
things-
initial process.
But there's
I'm
other
just saying,
things that goes with it. though.
like, I don't want to be like Michelle's saying, "Hey, I've got a month. You know, we're moving. We're
Right.
moving to Oregon. We're going to be out of here at the end of the month."
Not going to move to
And
Oregon.
I don't want our first attempt at hiring a town manager just out of thin air. We've never done it
Exactly.
before.
I'll fall back to old
Put out some
ways.
feelers,
Gotcha.
see who
Let's
bites.
try it.
I-
Another
Fine.
consideration
Yeah.
is that if you're going to have someone move to this area from another area, we don't have a lot of housing, and the housing we do have, that salary's not going to cover it.
Yeah, this isn't a cheap
So
place to live.
we
Me-
got
median
ways
income,
to sell.
median home
Yeah.
value is what, 260, 270,
But
something
they
like
do
that,
not.
230?
But they do not have to live
Median
in
median
Bluff
home.
City.
But
No,
the
but
surrounding
that's-
area
I've
here
got
are
one for
outrageous.
sale. So if you anybody wants to buy one, let me know. I'm
And
serious.
there aren't houses,
Sandy's-
but they are building, but they're building
They are
not fast enough.
But I think that's
Oh,
going to
rentals.
change.
I've got a friend that's going through some marital issues. $1,200 is the cheapest apartment for herself.
Yep.
A 2-bedroom apartment.
Right down in Piney Flats.
$1,200.
All of
Yes,
those not module homes,
gotta
those
be
townhomes are
kidding.
being built.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
When they get you in, they go up on rent every
And see,
My son and daughter-in-law are renewing their rent one more
Want to
time
get out on
for
that.
nothing because they cannot find, and they've saved a hell of a nest egg.
y'all get your tin hats out. But like COVID did this, and it did it to our community, and I saw it happen before my eyes. The CDC came out and said, if they were renting, they ain't got to pay you. CDC had absolutely this much authority to do that, and then everybody quit paying. Now, property management companies, these people who own apartment complexes, they were okay. What that did was force every mom and pop rental. Like, you bought your house, your mom and dad died, you inherited the house, you start renting it. Everybody that was doing that had to sell because it was okay 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, but when it got a year, year and a half, they couldn't afford it. And CDC didn't say, "Oh, you don't have to pay banks, people." No, you still had to pay those banks. So
Well,
what did
they
everybody do? Started selling. And what everybody that wanted to buy started doing, I did like maybe 2 closings a year for, 6, 7 years, maybe 1, 2 closings. It'd always be cash sales. I just draw up some paperwork, easy peasy, right? In 2020, I did 27 closings. In 2021, I did about 45 closings. And these people, I would never even see a human being. Everything was being done electronically. And they'd
They
be
were
like,
being bought us from other places.
it was property management companies or individuals buying it sight unseen
Yep.
for $250,000 home. I'll pay you $575 for it, cash.
Anyone want?
They're not doing it now, though, are they?
We can. Oh, hell no.
No.
So what
I have
that
a
did was all these
5-bedroom,
rental houses that were in our area that were affordable.
You know, anybody
basically,
wants to buy a house,
These
let me know.
homeowners were
Yep.
charging mortgage plus a couple $100.
All the
Gone.
people escaped
All of
California.
them
You
are
were
gone.
you were able to
What we
rent a house here for like $750.
That's just another month or so. And
You what?
when we advertise stuff about March or end of March, because usually April and May is when people start to make a decision if they want to, move somewhere, move kids or something.
Nobody wants to move in 19-degree weather, man.
No.
So, I mean, that's where
so
we
that's,
should,
that's a good idea.
we should get this worked out, what we want to present
Yeah.
and what we want to run, and then run it in the spring like that. So,
We're not far from it.
and we
Call
don't
it
really have
market
any
research.
intention of hiring.
Do it.
Not only that, we may not be hiring, but it's always good to have applications in case, say I'm going to quit tomorrow, we'll have an application to
But
look
there's
at.
value in market research because one, you're going to see what kind of interest you get, entry, mid,
Right.
senior level.
Right.
You're going to see how far your reach was.
How far?
Right? How many people would do it? You're going to see how they respond to whatever you put in there as far as your salary, your benefits, whether you're going to do a car or moving allowance or whatever you're going to
No car.
You get what I'm saying though. Like they're going
Now,
to weigh all
that
those
moving
things.
allowance, we will have to discuss the moving allowance if they.
But
do
the other thing your
move.
market research is going to do when you do this, it's going to show you what your competition is out there.
Yeah, but Ben, if you're going to move.
So there's value in it.
Nebraska. We got to pay movers.
Ain't
Get it all
coming.
in
That's
there.
where.
He
Well,
said he
that's-
had one guy
$10,000.
not so ago that thought it might make a good candidate and stuff, but he knew we wasn't ready, and stuff. And he didn't say who he was or what he was or so forth. And I was talking to him one day.
Well,
There's some towns like is it Morton that has the part-time.
I asked him
And
about
it's a
that.
city manager. He's a city manager. I forget the two. But one of them's like two small little towns, and he's just
Like
part-time for
Marion?
both of them.
She said there's 3 or 4 that she knew of in Southwest Virginia that sort of had like a co-op deal that kind of took care of, overseed the towns, but they really wasn't
Wise County.
individual or something.
You're like the manager for Wise County and
Yeah,
Sure.
North.
Yeah, sure. You got any comments or any good wise comments you give to us, or tell us shut up or whatever? But
Well, I think
we're
seriously.
spreading it out.
Well, what you've said about what I've even mentioned is, I know it was approved, that other clerk, but that is $40,000. And if we can get by with 3 clerks over there, then we'll have, beginning in May, we'll have 40,000 to go there. So then we just have to find, eke out a little bit more. I'm just trying to find where we're going to get it from. We've had 3 clerks work over there for years, and with all that new computers and things over there, and it's supposed to have been a faster system. Am I right, Sheila? It's supposed to sped everything up, made the work process
So the
easier.
thing I just want to clarify. So you've got 2 municipal clerks and you got a court clerk. And as of January this year, we're now doing court twice a month instead of once a month.
Oh,
Plus,
I did
we're
not know
doing
that.
we're doing more driving schools than they've ever done before.
And that's revenue.
And that's because there's been an influx in the communities around us of people flocking to this area. So then you're getting more people speeding or more traffic problems and things like that. So
That's going to change then.
We really need to look into, I don't know, pinch points where you're cross-trained in jobs.
They
Right
are.
now, you
They
have
are.
one,
They're
we
cross-trained
have one
over there,
court
aren't
clerk.
they?
Yeah.
We have
Somebody's
one.
not
No.
busy, they can work
We
the
have one
window.
here.
One.
Yeah.
Well, they're not.
The other
Sure, we
clerk.
know.
Yeah.
Because we don't have anybody that can cross-train.
So-
They're not cross-trained.
I know. So we have to.
They were at one time.
We can't let
Then
one person
that-
shut down government.
When we got that court clerk, and then let's face it, write more tickets, so we're in court more, okay? And not a bad thing, 'cause that adds money.
Write more tickets.
I said they're writing more
Oh,
tickets.
you said write
No,
more
no.
tickets. I was going to say,
Well,
what?
there are people who are
We're not
speeding.
trying
You ain't
to
supposed to
write.
be.
No,
I'm just stating.
You heard Tiffany when she pulled out. She parked over that line out there. You can go get her till you run out and park it.
No, listen, because we are already writing more tickets. That's why Jean Ann has to be in court longer. I'm aware of that. So, but as we're talking about it right now, in a pinch, I don't know. I think maybe the Lord's going to bless us or something, but Sharon's going to have to crunch some numbers. But
Luckily, she's good at that.
she's good at it. But then at some meeting, we're going to have our hard discussion, and that is water and sewer. But that's not on this meeting, so.
All right,
Yeah,
so-
and then always remember this, we're not paying that $60,000 for the building. It's paid for. Remember that.
We got
That's
three
our
areas
money.
that's,
We're also
Yeah.
not paying
But this year,
And we had money
Yeah.
we
In
had
5
money
years we
set
will.
aside
Yeah, that's-
for the roof.
yes,
Well, thank God
then that
Michelle.
wasn't done. No,
was
we,
able to
we still
do that.
have to replace them, right?
No, the roof doesn't have to be replaced right now.
In
Does
about
it?
5 years, we need to look at
That's
replacement.
5 years. None of us probably be sitting
But
on
your,
that board by
your
then.
HVAC systems, which I think is what
Right.
you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
referencing,
Yeah.
we-
So that saved
that'll
us
be one of those
thousands.
first conversations that we have when we do one of those meetings, because those will be the most immediate thing
Right.
as far as building service equipment
Right.
that we're going to need to look at.
Right. And we're not going to be spending money on spending like $48,000 on trash cans or something like that. So that's money.
No,
I've
hell
seen
no,
those
we
eyes,
already
Jerry.
spent 'em.
I'm very observant.
I'm still waiting on it.
I'm very observant.
Gloria's not
may not
used to
say
this,
much,
but
but I'm
can we
very
move on?
We certainly can. So, town hall audio.
Oh, wait,
and
wait,
video.
wait.
the truth.
What the hell are you looking for?
He's looking for the cheese. Got a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Audio, video. I think
When
Michelle's
you-
taking care of it. She's getting bids.
So we
When
did
you
get
move it
bids for
Oh, yes. I'll smack
cameras.
you.
We did get bids for cameras.
And what is it?
So, but they're interior and exterior cameras. So we're talking security camera plus cameras here and here. And that bid was about $6,050, if I remember off the top of my head. But that's interior, exterior. So we would have visibility on everything outside and everything inside. And that's also putting in a new central station to run everything, doing all the cabling, whole 9 yards, a little over
When you
$6
say
grand.
the central station,
That's
is
where you
that
operate
in this
everything.
room.
It's like your
back
where
here?
your DVR is and your computer that runs it.
Command center.
But this is that where that
Would your storage
all
be-
that is in that room right back there.
Yes.
Okay.
Would your storage be on site and in the cloud,
Um,
or just one or the other?
I think we
Probably
need to do both.
I'd have to double check on the
Just a
verbiage on
question.
that, but I do know that the storage capacity was way higher than what we've got right now.
Yeah, you can-
We got 4 now, I think, quoted for 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it stored like 6 weeks or something.
And
like that at a
then now,
time.
and then and our audio and video will work together.
So they're separate systems. So I did look into, after the last meeting we had, did look into some microphone systems. One similar to like we see at the commissioners meeting, what the mayor was stating about. You push a button to speak.
We don't have to
push
be
a button
that
to turn it off.
fancy.
Those
don't-
are a little more expensive.
We don't need those.
But for roughly 6 microphones, depending on what the setup is, you're probably looking anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500, but that's for 6. So I think if we really want to look at doing new mics here, again, in another discussion, what do we want? How many do we want? Where do we want them? Because I know there was talk about like the podium mics or maybe a mic for this table. I would want to solidify what the need is before we continue to get quotes, because I don't want to spin
Because you
wheels
look-
in things that we're not
When
interested in.
when I mentioned microphones, it was only for the seats that didn't have a microphone in front of them.
And that's valid. So the thing with each of these is individually wired. So just to let everybody know. So when you add a mic, not only is it just the mic, you have the wiring, and it all goes over to the mixer over there. So, I mean, you're going to have some labor costs there, too. So it's not just
Okay.
the microphone.
Well,
You're going to have
yeah.
some
I used to work
installation,
for
too.
band. But how many channels we got?
Oh,
Well, that's another
I can
question.
hook it up.
I haven't even looked at that.
Hey,
I've been running sound equipment since it was analog.
And,
save us
well,
some money there.
how big is the conduit that they're pulling through? I don't know. So just some things that we would
But
have
I
to
just
consider.
wanted microphones so everybody would have a microphone to speak into.
Yeah.
And then the one for the table. And, I mean, I don't know.
You mean you don't like my mic setup there?
Well, yeah,
I got some connects to Morel's music. I'll take a look. But I could probably get it set up. Like, for
Are you
not a
serious?
lot. Yeah, I'm serious.
All right.
We might have to slap
I
a
know a
Morel's
guy-
music
I know a
sticker
guy
up
from
front
there
here or
that
something.
has
I'll see what I can work
Well,
out.
Figure that
So,
out.
I mean-
why don't you guys
Put it on
explore
the
that?
podium.
We can what?
One,
And
two,
this thing here that I was talking about in the center of the table, maybe it just sits here and doesn't have to have a hole where it's in it. Is this the same table? Well, they may have to have a hole.
Give them advertising.
Wear a T-shirt.
See, since everybody's sitting so much
We all gotta
closer
throw a
here
magnet on the side
and
of our car.
across from each other,
You talk about outside and stuff. Is that needed? I mean,
Yes.
So we
and
do
I'm
have,
just asking 'cause I don't know.
we do have blind spots exterior and interior, so yes.
How many more interior are you going to have and where at? See, these are things we would like to know.
And are you doing away with all the ones we have now? Because
It would
they
be a
were-
replacement.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I think what we have now
Quantity.
is probably not real usable.
They're not. Some of them
I can
don't.
figure out.
They don't
Remember
even.
the
Some
quantity.
have been. Some of them. don't.
It'll be on your quote, though.
It is in the quote.
But then we're talking about 2 360s in here.
Yeah,
Well, now-
they got those dome ones you put up.
Well, yeah, but now when you say 2 360s, that means nothing to me.
It's a camera that can
Does it?
360.
Pretty much all the way
record
around.
360 degrees in a circle.
And that was the same thing for the outside too.
Yeah,
So we
that's
do
cool.
have blind spots like around the exterior, not only doors but parking lot. So they have ones that would cover like a wider range. So you could use less cameras but still get wider coverage on
We
your
do need that, and something that just because I was sitting out there, and I don't know who does it, but some of the light bulbs are out. It doesn't look so good when we got light bulbs out
Where
down
at?
here at Bluff City Hall.
On the building?
Yeah,
Okay.
on the exterior of the building. Somebody might, when it gets dusk, maybe the policeman could go around and see which ones need light bulbs.
Okay, we'll check that out tonight.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to get the information.
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. If we want to go to the next topic and then
Next
exit
topic is
back.
board member comments. So we'll go ahead and start with the the mayor. Mayor L. Staten versus Mayor B.
I
Adams.
know. It's like, yeah. This is a very productive meeting. I really am happy how this went. Like, I didn't know what to expect. It's kind of our first workshop with current parties, and if we work like this, we're going to do good things. I'm happy about it. Like, I think we're all going in a good direction, and we work together. Yeah, we're going to accomplish some great stuff for our community. Happy about it.
I totally agree. Well, you know, my concern is our water rates. I am very concerned about that. Our water rates, our roads, and we've got to come up with something. We've got to have a plan. Matter of fact, I got some phone calls, and I won't say what the person told me that we could do with those trash cans, but I won't say that. I said, well, okay, sir, I'll tell them. But needless to say, we've got to do something about those rates. We've got to. I mean, I paid my water bill yesterday, or day before yesterday, $138. That's ridiculous. And how are we going to expect people to move to this area? With water, I mean, personally, I love my little town. I'm still here. But I wouldn't recommend somebody with a lot of children to move until we get something done with these water rates because you couldn't afford it.
Especially if they don't.
I know when we get the water treatment plant going,
Right, but remember,
but that's a slow go.
But remember, when you first got on this board, something you said, and it really made me feel good. You said you would love to have a day where we could do a decrease.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, remember, every year after that, we started
Went up.
saving water. We were saving water now. We were saving water. We was getting revenue. But we end up going up. You wasn't on the board at the time. We had a meeting, and they was going to buy a jetter, and it was, I think, $68,000.
$70,000.
$70,000. But anyway, needless to say, during that meeting, that night in the workshop, I stated, you remember? I said, you want to take this out of the water fund? I said, don't come back and say you're going to have to raise the rates. Remember me saying that? Within a month, came back and raised the rates. That was not fair. That was not right. And the last time I heard, the jetter that we paid $70,000 for got stuck in a hole, and one of the blades broke.
It broke a
Broke a blade. That's $70,000. But our citizens has to pay for it. And I ask, please, let's not raise the rate because somebody wanting to buy a jetter. We did. and we raised the rates twice. And I know that we did not have to have those increases those last 2 years.
So it was them 3 years.
Was it 3?
3 years.
Well, I know Mary Wells, right before she left, we had that audit.
Well, that was
And
mandatory.
well, I know, wait a minute. The last audit that we had when Mary Wells was here, they stated that this was the best that our town has ever been in, and we did not have to have any increases for 2 years straight. And then we had 2 increases the last couple of years, and I know we did not have to have the increase. Not only that, I think the flat rate was, what, $50 or $60? Well, they increased the flat rate. I think it's about $70. If you don't even use so many gallons, you're going to pay a flat rate. We need to look at that. We need to think about our citizens because we've got so many people that are living on fixed incomes. We've got people that's got children. Can you imagine doing laundry and baths and all that? And all we doing is giving our citizens increases. And that's another reason why I'm on this board, because it's not right. We've got to do better, board. We've got to come up with something. So I ask you all.
The jetter was necessary.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying on our part, but they wasn't using our jetter when it broke. It was Bristol's.
Well, I don't know who was using it. All I know is,
wanted to go longer down the line.
but all I know is that we paid $68,000 for a jetter. We upped the citizens' taxes, and the jetter in a hole, and the blade broke.
Well, now,
and
what
the
I heard
citizens
was
are
we
paying
broke
for that,
both
and
of
it's
them.
not
Bristol's
right.
and ours.
It's not right. So I hope that we can come up with something, or if you're in meetings, I'll be talking to people too, if they've got any ideas of what we can do to try to make it a little easier on our citizens.
Well, we do have to look.
Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to make sure you had.
Okay.
everything
You will
wanted
do
to
this,
say.
right? You will check into
Mine
this.
Mine is the water and sewer. We can need to work on a
Got to.
disaster plan. But that needs to be done, and maybe I would use the public works people and the police department and put their minds at work and have them come up with things that they would implement and suggest for a disaster.
And if I could say one more thing,
And fire department.
if I could say one more thing, if we were saving water, not buying water, and then we got a few little businesses, why did we have to up the rates? That's why I'm saying we didn't have to. We didn't have to do that. And also, if this continue and people talk about one a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan, include in a 5-year plan a flat rate maybe end up being like $200. Let the people know what they're getting into.
For a hookup? For a hookup?
No, honey, for a flat rate water bill. If it's going to keep going up, because people cannot afford it.
Of only using the
Well,
first
the reason
2,000
that I
gallons.
went for it, and the thing was, with the budget he proposed.
There you go.
Well, with the vote, now where it was right or wrong, because I didn't know
I know.
that much, and nobody else did either.
No.
I
was
knew.
voting on what was
I
on the
told
screen,
you.
man.
I told you.
No, but think about it though, if it didn't pass, it only had $6,000 of fluff.
What
If
we were
it
told.
didn't- Well, I was going to say, and if we didn't vote for it, then we would be at a minus, which put a red stain from the state.
Right.
Now,
I understand
if it's
what
right
you're
or wrong, I don't know what.
Right.
Yeah, I can't vouch for the numbers,
Yeah.
but I know that like we do not want Nashville running our water because they will do
Oh, I
it
know
year
that.
over year.
I know
Every
that.
year there will be
I
an
know
increase,
that.
and it will be
But-
8%. It'll be
I
2%.
know.
It'll be whatever they want to
Oh,
do.
honey.
But we were told we
We
couldn't
had
even
those
afford a city
28,
manager.
39.
And we see that wasn't true.
But I mean,
Let's
we can,
keep it real.
we can look at our water, and it's not like we have some huge surplus and then that we're frivolously spending money. Like, I mean, we'll have to reevaluate the numbers. And if we got like an extra $60,000 in our
didn't
water
need it,
sewer
yeah.
fund, then I would vote for even a refund back to the
Right,
customer.
right,
You know, because
right.
we do not need to maintain $60,000
No.
in our water sewer.
When is,
And we did not need that jetter.
I think we're
We
going
could
to
have
need more
done without
hands-on
that
with
jetter.
budget.
when
Right,
did,
right. I mean, that,
We know better now.
Yeah.
when did the
And we're
water, when is
learning.
the water-
We're learning.
We are
I've
learning.
never done a city budget before.
Well, this year I think needs to be different. We need, instead of being presented the numbers, we need to be the ones sitting down doing some of those numbers. So Jeff prepared it and handed it to you all. That's the way it was.
We'll know more too when we get the audit back, looking at the numbers from
And-
the budget and the
Well,
audit.
I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. I told you so every time.
Predicted proper. I have no idea.
I don't think
It
it's
could have been spot on for all I know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But anyway, just a question
it could
to
be.
you,
I don't
because
know.
I don't think you, or maybe you know the answer.
We're
to
learning.
this. When is our water plant refurbishment going to be completed?
So that's all going to depend on when the plans get reviewed and approved by the state.
Okay.
And remember, we were told they move slowly.
He said
Yeah, I know.
at best like September of 25.
Well,
if I remember
well,
right.
Yes, if
But-
everything went nicely,
But like we,
September
like
25.
you also said the other
would take
night,
about a year.
he'd already gone through 3 electrical companies, and that nobody had come up with our electrical plans out there
And
yet.
sometimes there's
Hey,
just some market
they
when
need-
you're talking about engineering firms
Can't
and
believe it.
especially MEP engineering firms. They when it comes to small jobs, if they can do this job over here and get paid a lot more
Oh, I
for
know
it,
they're gonna go for
they're
it.
they're just not going to they're not going to do the small
But
work.
Sharon, if that happens, and the water plant gets totally refurbished, and it's really nice out there, can we ever stop buying water from Bristol?
Yeah.
Oh, I can answer that for you. Yeah.
But don't we have to have it as a backup?
You have to have a backup.
Okay, which means we still have to, no matter if you buy 1 gallon, we have to pay for so much, right? Whether we use it or not.
They have to pay, they have to buy a portion.
We have to
It
guarantee.
don't have to be high rate if you get the water.
Okay. But it is high, what we're still paying right now. is
We're not
high,
buying
isn't
as
it?
much though of it.
No. How much has it decreased buying water?
It's down like 40%, isn't it? It's pretty significant.
Yeah. It was the
I
last
thought it
time
was
Alan
like-
said it was.
Does it depend on the leaks? There have been some leaks that have been.
And we've got
Well-
some major leaks fixed too. So
Well,
see,
Carter
that's
Street,
saving.
we lost a ton of water
Yeah,
on
we
Carter
did.
Street.
That's what I'd like to see here in the next couple of months is percentage of loss on our water. How much does it actually cost us?
So
That's
that
where our
video too, didn't ya?
infrastructure
You're right.
It was staggering. Like, what was it? Like, I think when I first started here, it was like 80%
That
of
is
our
right.
infrastructure is ceramic pipe. 80%.
Lost, you might as
So,
well
I mean,
be like money on fire.
We can't replace all that at one time.
That's true.
And like, it were, but in what
But
is it?
we
The
didn't
new
know.
meters, we only can get
Right.
like 100 at a time. So I mean, that's almost 20 years to have everybody have a new meter, and we have meters out there that are 50 years old, 60 years old. And I think
They've been calibrated lately too, right?
well, I mean, that's it. Like,
Yeah, who the hell?
I know that
thing
there
we
are.
need to
I am
check out.
sure that there are meters out there that haven't
Meters
worked
and
in
stuff.
2 decades,
When I-
And I do
and it's
remember
just
Alan did talk
well, we
about
I do
charge
want
them
to make
50
a
for
point
this
of
month.
this.
We're just going to
Today,
keep charging them 50.
my sister came up. She brought me my
And then
electric
when these
blanket
things get
for
repaired,
for Christmas.
now all of a sudden,
Michelle, do you know when the audit will be back?
20 years.
We're hoping by the end of the month.
$20.
But
we
there's a
fixed
couple more
that. That's
things. I
why
think
you're paying
the
more.
draft is almost finished.
We
So
know,
We're not
that we have
finished
to.
with it.
We know that we have to have a profit. We're a utility district. We know by law we
We
have to
have
have a
to.
profit.
Right.
We
So
have
I
to.
think the only way that we can look at our rates is to see what we're losing and to see how we can fix not losing that. So
Absolutely.
once we bring our costs down, then we can bring the customer's costs down. But I don't think it's going to work the other way.
But the water treatment.
I looked at whatever the
That
budget was
water
on the
plant
website. That's
treatment
all
down
I've
there
seen. I haven't seen any
stinks.
line
Does anyone,
items or anything.
have
but
you all been told that it
I just
smells
don't-
down there now?
well,
That's my concern.
It's clean sewage.
That's my concern because we do have to.
I mean, there's things to do.
But I do know that we're saving water.
But it doesn't say
that's-
exactly how much.
The water is the whole
No,
reason
but-
that I even got involved in this.
Yeah.
Like when I first moved here, it was just craziness, and I just heard some rumors about how we were losing like free money that we could use for infrastructure. So I came down here and came to a couple of meetings, and it was like, holy crap, we need some adults in the room that know how to read, like who could fill out a form, like because like we don't, something's not right here. So that's why I got involved, and like I've asked more questions about this topic than anything else.
I got to
I've been
learn.
fighting this for 10 years.
The biggest change that we can make on water rates is getting our water sewer treatment plant up to 100%. We're no longer going to be buying water. What we're able to produce is going to cost less. So I mean, that's the biggest change that we can make. But there's gobs of other things we got to do too.
Yeah, the
Infrastructure's got to be taken care of. Our meters have to be all updated because nobody addressed any of this stuff. My mind was blown. We had a plan. This is what our plan for the water situation was. We had a $3.5 million bid into the county, waiting on them to approve it to build another water tower. Now, what would happen? We got leaks everywhere with our current system. We're going to put $3.5 million into putting another water tower that's going to double the amount of pressure on our really shitty system. So nobody in BLUFF was going to ever let it move out of committee. And I was like, how long has this thing been in there? 8 years. I'm like, well, can we not get some money to do something that will help us? And I was like, Jeff, what can we do to fix this, do the biggest dent in fixing this problem? And it's like, if we can get our water sewer treatment plant operating at full capacity, we're going to say 15, whatever we got to buy from Bristol. And I can tell you, I can taste the difference in my water when it goes from Bluff City water into the bought water from Bristol, because it starts tasting like a swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Full of chlorine.
And when
so that's another thing. When we start fixing their water lines, we have to give a public notice out to the public.
Yes.
Because on their side of the meters, once we start raising the pressure, all these galvanized lines and everything that are old that weren't leaking that much, they're going to start.
They're going to have a problem.
You have to let the public know that you need to start looking into your water. We're fixing leaks in ours, which will raise the pressure on yours. Make sure your pressure reducing valve. I mean, we need, as a utility, we need to make the public aware that we are fixing this line. It will raise pressure.
Well, today,
every time my pressure goes low, I get a little concerned because I think, what's leaking and where? Now, I know my valve could go bad, but it happens now and then, so I know it's not that.
today, Johnson City, they come to my house, they get out of their truck, and they walk around to the side of my house, and they check my water meter. They don't leave anything to chance. Comes with this little clipboard and reads it.
That's something we got to check on too, because sometimes I'm not sure how they do it.
They
but
call it a
sometimes those
ride-by
little
what
things
we
may
do
not
down
work
here.
right.
They come to check my meter because they waved to my security camera.
Okay, so they raise your
they
thing
broke
up
my
and look
manhole
at it.
cover. Somebody ran over it.
Somebody stole mine one time.
It broke right in two.
All right, so it's 8 o'clock now, so I know that we have, we need to finish this up.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting late, so Eric, do you have any comments that you
I would just like to say, thank this board for voting me on, giving me a chance. I hope I can contribute, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, man.
Well, we were told we
Thank
needed
you.
young blood.
Goodness gracious, I wish I was young.
I think your appointment is gonna, it's amazing. You, just having spoken with you and just your knowledge, I think you are a brilliant fit for this board.
I hope so. I hope to do it well.
We need your phone number. That's I looked for it the other day because I want to know if you had certain copies I was going to send to you until it gets put up on our website page.
I forgot about this. And this is not personally just directed at you, but if you send a group email to all of us, and if any one of us responds, it creates a quorum. We're breaking the sunshine law. So you can't send a group email saying, hey, everybody, let's talk about this.
Or what
So
do you
one
think?
person responds, we've broken the sunshine law.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk to an individual one-on-one, you can do that all day long.
I have been
You'll have to
responding
call.
one-on-one, have I not?
You have. That is why when Michelle
I've
sends
gotten group-
emails,
I'm
she
just
says
saying,
send
I've
it to
gotten
me
group emails.
individually.
Yeah.
And if you include town manager and everybody on the board and the mayor, we have a quorum the second one other person responds.
Nobody has responded.
That's
Well,
fine.
that's another one. I know it. We had that one.
Like,
Well,
when we
some
were
of it-
talking about getting rid of Jeff, it was such a pain in the ass because I'd have to call Carol. Then I'd have to call Lori. And then I would have to call Lisa. And then Lisa would have to call Lori. And then Lisa would have to call Carol. And
Then Carol will call me, and then
because if three of us talked about it,
very serious.
it breaks the sunshine law. And we were rigorous about text messages
I can tell you
and
that,
phone calls.
Yeah.
Because that was
Nashville-
incredibly difficult and hard to navigate.
Nashville doesn't really give much thought
Talk to Paul.
sunshine law.
Until they do.
Right.
It, exactly, until they
is
do.
vague.
I have called. I have called.
I know,
It is
but-
vague on the sanctions.
I have called,
They can
and it
do
has been
just
some
about
serious
anything they want.
stuff, and it was
And it
just
can be
totally
minor, it can be major.
didn't care.
What's that thing says let's quit?
Before my computer dies,
You're
I
the
just
second
wanted to
person.
follow up on the question that was in the room. So it is an 8 terabyte hard drive. There are 5 outdoor bullet cameras. Let's see. There's going to be cameras interior, evidence room, police department corridor, courtroom corridor, courtroom front with audio, courtroom rear with audio, and the clerk's office. And then there would be outside at the drive-through, front parking lot, west side parking lot, rear parking lot, detached building, dumpster. So that's a total of 11 new cameras. 2 of them have the audio. Kind of like, I think on that one you can see it. There is a microphone on it, but it's disconnected. And I think the one in the back you can see it hanging down there. But
Well,
they're disconnected.
when you're talking to them about it, the ones that we had in the past, you really can't see the board members really up close at all. I mean,
I'm sure technology's better now.
it's like way back. It's his. Well,
That's a good thing, isn't it?
I know. I'm not going to complain about that.
well,
Kids be picking my nose.
it doesn't make our professionalism look so good down there. I guess that's my point.
So, and I think there's something to be said for placement and things like that. But yes, I think the technology is better and the placement could be better. But I just wanted to follow up.
Like
on
you can see the audience when the view from back here, beautiful view. But when it comes to the up on the dais, it's like faded out, hidden. I don't know if it's black chairs or what. But anyways,
Again. So, Jerry.
I'm good.
Okay.
All right. Hey, one quick thing too, sunshine law related. We can have a group text for scheduling.
Yes.
If we talk about scheduling, we cannot talk about anything business related. We can say, hey, we've got this thing coming up. Can we do a special call meeting on Thursday, June 15th? Sure, we can do that. We can discuss about that. But we cannot talk about what's going to be discussed in the meeting. It has to be limited. So
Or
we can
anything
talk
that you
as a
could
group.
possibly vote on
Right.
down the line.
now,
We can
there's
talk
not
about
really
the Yankee
been-
game. We cannot talk about anything that has to do with business.
And we have to remember that anything we email to each other is public. So anybody
You
at
will
any
not
time,
get an email from
You
me.
don't get nothing from
There's
me. I
nothing,
don't email.
nothing against you all. You will not get an email from me.
I'm with you. I don't email either.
If I text,
I don't
it will
even
be
text.
about
and
whether or
that
not
and
I
that's
can
fine.
attend,
When I
and
email
that
you
will
all,
be
you
as
can
well.
call me. You can do whatever you
Right, I
want to
usually
get me the
call
information.
if I need to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's fine. Really quickly, I just want to say, I don't know if ever anyone has had the opportunity to see the new
Yes, I
nameplates
did.
on
I
there.
noticed
Yeah.
it is.
And if no one has ever noticed, Sharon Green's name is spelled incorrectly and has been for how long, Sharon? Since you've been here?
No, I don't know where this one came from recently.
The other one was spelled right.
It said Jeff.
Jean Ann, I thought, ordered them. I don't know.
We're getting
You
there.
had one that was spelled right.
I know mine was so I don't know what they
Well,
I thought
we're going to fix it back to the way it was.
Well, I thought we only ordered the ones for the people that
And then yours
didn't.
should be here ASAP.
for- I thought we only ordered ones for the people that didn't have one.
Well, and then the titles changed. Vince did not
got all
change.
the got all the titles updated.
Yeah.
All right, second session of public comments. Anyone?
Going, go.
No, but Jerry.
one?
Yes?
Jerry, good job.
Comment. Oh, Thank
That
you.
Tahoe.
Thank you.
Tahoe.
We'll just say your name and address.
That had to
Whatever.
get a recall, factory recall.
4391.
It's out front if anybody wants to see it.
Oh, who's driving that one?
Me.
No, you're
Move to
not.
adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.
You are not driving the Tahoe. Who is?